impossible levels in GD are probably the most unique types of levels in the game. I mean, look at this. You won't find this anywhere else. When the average GD player thinks of an impossible level, they probably think of Silent Circles or Death Corridor. While these levels are hard, they don't even come close to the things I'm going to show you in this video. If you've been in the community for a while, you might have heard of the Impossible Levels list, ILL for short. But there are limitations to this list. Number 1. Levels must be physically possible on at least one game version and passable from beginning to end in normal mode. So that means it doesn't matter if a human can't beat it, it just has to be possible to get to the end of the level without dying. There's also a spam speed limit, so people don't just make lazy spam levels. The clicks per second limit is 16. There's also a max 3 clicks in a frame, but if you don't understand that, then I'll explain later. Anyways, it's time to show some levels from the ILL. The first one I want to show you guys is Ballistic Wistfully. This level is so weird and unique. The song used is also weird. You need 3000 FPS to complete this level, and it has about 500 plus frame perfects in it. If you look at this part of the level, you can see what's known as the Eidos Duel. In the Eidos Duel, there's a corridor of impossible mini gameplay at the top. There's more impossible gameplay at the bottom. And then I also mentioned it's a 2-player mode duel, so you have to focus on both of the game modes, playing impossible gameplay. And it's only number 15 on the list. Ballistic Wistfully is probably the most iconic ILL level. Eidos also made another level called Cyclosic, and it's harder and also has the Eidos Duel in it. And nothing much to say about that one, other than it's 6 minutes long. The next level I want to show you is the 6th on the list, and it's called Formosa. Now you might be wondering, why is this number 6 on the list? It doesn't look that hard, right? But you need 20,000 FPS to do some of the timings, and guess what? There's invisible spikes everywhere. This is what the layout version looks like, and you have to do about 20 of these impossible timings every second. But the start of the level is different. There's not that much CPS and it doesn't look too hard. Well, if you tried to play this level, you would realize that you can't jump. Why? Well, if you look, you can see there's a dash rope stuck to you, and that's multi-activate on. Right here, you have to do what's known as a swift click. A swift click is when a single frame of a level has more than one click in that frame, meaning you have to click 2 times in one frame to jump here. The first click activates the dash orb, then you release in that frame, and then you jump. Of course, this goes away when the shift comes, but there's still some swift clicks around the level. So that's why the rule says only 3 clicks in one frame maximum. Because swift clicks are so hard, you can see them a lot in impossible levels. The next level is called Tax Evasion. This is number 2 on the list, and I want to show you this level for 2 reasons. Number 1, Minus Wave. Minus Wave is where you have a 2-player dual wave that looks like this. Usually it's in 4x speed and they're pretty hard. However, the Minus Wave in Tax Evasion is insane. You might notice that this doesn't look like Minus Wave. Well, if you notice, one of the waves isn't where it's supposed to be. This is such a cool gimmick, and while we're on the topic of Minus Wave, I guess Ballistic Wistfully also uses some Minus Wave in this part. Now you might be wondering, what's the hardest impossible level? And it's Open Window like Crimson. This level is really cool, and I don't really have much to say about it other than it deserves the top spot, because oh my goodness, it's just insane. You have to remember that everything I have told you so far into this video is easier than this level. The level is 58 seconds long, and that's just, how is a 58-second long level harder than this, and this, and this, and this, and this? Like, it's so crazy to me. Now, what if I told you there's harder levels? Allow me to introduce you to the physically possible levels list, PPLL for short. The rules are: levels must be physically possible in normal mode in the latest version of Geometry Dash. Levels must be harder than the current top 1 ILL level. And levels have to be original, no CPS limit, and no level time limit. This can lead to some crazy things. Let's take number 13 on the list for an example. This level is called Nessus. How about we take a look at this level? Yeah, this is the level. If you look at the layout, it doesn't look that hard or like anything really. So what's going on here? The level takes advantage of a really complicated bug called the XPOS limit to make it need 5 million FPS to complete. In the layout, you can see there's a tight and very probably pixel perfect UFO gap. And get this, 322,560 multi-activate black orbs. Remember when I talked about swift clicks? When the UFO game mode, if you have a multi-activate black orb and you click 2 times in one frame, then you jump. If you take a look at this spam I made, you have to do the UFO swift click, then after a couple frames click it normally to go down and then do the swift click again. Then you have this. Going back to Nessus, because there's 322,560 black orbs here, you have to click all those black orbs in a single frame, and then also click again to activate the jump in that frame. Meaning you have to click 322,561 times in one frame, then wait like a single frame later on 5 million FPS, and then click to go down again, just like in the spam, but way tighter, and then do those 322,561 clicks again. This causes the level to have, oh my god, wait, how do I pronounce this? This causes the level to have 7,096,320 CPS. But how long do you have to do that many clicks for, exactly? Well, because of that exposition limit bug I told you about, you have to wait. Jesus Christ, wait, how do I pronounce this number? Now, because of that exposition limit bug I told you about, you have to wait 7.209 times 10 to the power of 10,596 seconds. Oh my god. Meaning you have to do 7,096,320 CPS for 7.209 times 10 to the power of 10,596 seconds. And remember how this is only number 13 on the list. Next level I wanted to show you is PPLL Life. This level is a joke level, and it's number 12 on the list, one difficulty spot above Nessus. The difficulty comes at the ending where you have to do Jesus Christ, wait, how do I pronounce it? Wait, the difficulty comes at the ending where you have to do 4,327,749 CPS for 2.761 times 10 to the power of 17,372 seconds. And it's crazy to think that's not even the hardest level. The top level on the PPLL is called Zenitra. Now, the CPS for this level isn't actually that bad compared to what we just said. The CPS you have to do at the ending is 240,000 CPS. But how long do you have to do this for exactly? In Sinitra, you have to do 240,000 CPS for, guess what, 10 to the power of 77 quadrillion, 125 trillion, 323 billion, 451 million, 713,280 seconds. Let's say you actually can click that amount of CPS, and you actually can wait for that amount of time, like a superhuman. You will still never get to the end of any single PPLL level because the sun would have exploded by then, or the death of the universe would have already happened a long time ago. That's insane how long these levels are. And remember, this is all made in a game called Geometry Dash, this like $4 cube game that just people do this in. But what if I told you there's a harder list than that? The hardest theoretically possible levels list, or TPLL for short. The rules state, the level doesn't have to be physically possible, but it needs to be possible assuming GDU ran on an abstract game engine capable of operating on an arbitrarily large finite decimal values with perfect precision. This means that physics in real life don't matter anymore. Clicks can be faster than the speed of light. This also means that the levels would be possible if GD could calculate really large numbers. And when I say really large numbers, then you're not even ready. Any gameplay still has to be possible in this abstract game engine, of course. The level I first want to show you is pretty cool, right? Well, it doesn't look too hard compared to what we just saw. You would have to have that amount of F here. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. Actually, let me try. Tilt is F sub psi of psi sub I of omega comma 0 at 0 of 2 of the 32nd. Dude, what the hell? I don't know if this is also the amount of clicks you need, but it's definitely the amount of FPS that you need. But that doesn't matter, really, because, I mean, come on. This is still insane, and that's number 5 on the list. And it needs this. I don't even know how this is possible in Geometry Dash. We've truly gone too far. Like, but here we are, I guess. And that's the hardest levels ever, to my knowledge. If you know anything that's probably maybe harder than what I just said, then leave it in the comments, please. I spent a lot of effort on this video. This is like impossible levels have pretty much been a hyperfixation for me. And I don't see many people talking about this side of the community, and that makes me sad because it's such a smart and like it's such a cool community. Like, bro, come on! Like, I don't have any words for like how people even like come up with how to do this. Like, I look in the server and like I don't even understand anything they're saying. Like, it's so crazy. I mean, look, I could make an impossible level for the ILL. If I tried hard enough, I could make a PPL level. But TPLL is like out of my range. Like, I cannot do that. Like, and be like original with it too. Like, have a list for every level. Like, hell no. Hell no. Like, that's so insane to me. Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking now. Y'all probably didn't understand most of the things in the video. All I ask you for is to like please do some research on this yourself too. It's actually so cool. Bye.